guys, and welcome to my channel. So in this video I want to discuss something. That's why I'm making a video, goddammit. So I believe about 3 days ago I was on Twitter, and yes, I know I said Twitter instead of Twitter, like with an I don't know, my accent is weird, I'm sorry. I get a lot of comments about my accent, and honestly, in the beginning, I really didn't know how to react to that. And don't get me wrong, by the way, most comments are very nice. They are usually very complimenting of my accents. So I'm not saying that the comments that I get about my accent are bad or anything, but I do get a lot of them. Most of them are fine, but then there are some that are kind of weird, I guess. Like this one, for instance. Interesting accent. Are you French? Or are you deaf? I don't know, like, what was the mental gymnastics that, I don't know. By the way, I don't think this person was being mean or anything. I don't think so. I guess I just took this comment as saying, hey, your accent is very confusing. Which is very true, by the way. I believe at this point, I just have an obligation to make a video about my accent. Anyways, but one of the comments that I've been getting is that I do not pronounce my R's, and that is kind of true. I don't pronounce them in certain words and certain contexts. Like when I say Chris Hansen, it sounds like I'm saying Chris Hansen when I mean to say Chris Hansen. Did you guys notice any difference there? I tried to pronounce my R in the last one, okay? I really tried there. And it's just my accent. I don't know what else to say there. Okay, so where was I? I completely lost track of what I was trying to say. Oh my god. Okay. So, I was on Twitter and I saw something that was quite interesting and I want to talk about it on this channel. So the thing that I saw was actually this Twitter post that had the caption, "Stop using white sage if you're not indigenous." And this video has 2 million views and over 100,000 likes on Twitter. And I don't know, man, that seems like a pretty big treat to me, so I want to respond here. And by the way, if you think I'm wrong or if you think I'm ignorant or something, I'm willing to have my mind changed on this topic. So yeah. Comment your opinions down below, I guess. So let's watch this TikTok.
Let's talk about white sage. White sage is sacred to my indigenous people, the original people of this land. This is our medicine and has been our medicine since before 1492. But white sage is endangered. Why? Because it is being exploited for profit by big corporations. As much as you want to think that it helps you with your bad energy, headaches, anxiety, or whatever it is not yours. It is not for you. Find something else. Go to Walgreens, get you some Tylenol, ibuprofen, or open your Bible and pray. If you're non-native using white sage to smudge, that is cultural appropriation. Now, before y'all come for me talking about gatekeeping, the real gatekeeping is when the United States government made it illegal for my people to practice our way of life until 1978 under the American Indian Religious Freedom Act. If we did so, we were either starved, imprisoned, whipped, and or killed. It's so interesting that when my people practice our sacred ways, it is seen as witchcraft, exotic, and evil. But when celebrities do it, or when you do it, all of a sudden it hits different. And you're woke. If you want to really be woke, you won't use it.
So yeah, like, that was something. So that was a TikTok literally about a person saying that white people using a plant is somehow bad because that plant was used by indigenous people. Apparently burning plants is just for indigenous people, that's it. And if you're doing that, no, that's you being a racist. And to this tweet, I saw quite a few bad takes. And okay, we can get into that, but first of all, let's dismantle the arguments that this person is making, right? So when I decided to make this video, I thought, maybe I should do a little bit more research rather than just watching a 1 minute TikTok, you know? So I did do some digging into this topic, and I found that most people use 2 arguments here. And these 2 arguments are used sort of like they're presented as one single argument when they are really 2 different arguments. So let's run through them, shall we? So the first argument is the cultural appropriation argument, and it goes something like this. So, white sage is a type of sage, as you may have guessed, and it's widely used by the Native American tribes, and it's used in ceremonies and is seen as something that's sacred. And the argument that people make usually is that because it came from Native Americans and it was used mainly by Native Americans, white sage at least, people of other groups using it is cultural appropriation and is bad and they shouldn't do it. Especially when Native Americans use this, when Native Americans practice their traditions. You know what they are called? You know how they are seen as? It is seen as witchcraft, as something that's exotic or evil. And when white people do the same thing, it's an aesthetic. It's not seen as something that's evil. It's not seen as exotic. But when Native Americans do it, oh no, no, no. They are seen as evil. So considering all that, white people using white sage is cultural appropriation and is bad and they shouldn't do it. Well, that's the argument at least. At least that's how I see it. Tell me in the comments if I misrepresent the argument. And to that, I have to say, if we're gonna play this game of, oh, Native Americans used this plant and therefore no one else can use it, if we're gonna play this game, then if you're not Mexican, you can't have tacos. And if you're not from Africa, you can't use shea butter. What is the point? What am I trying to get at here? Okay, this may be a hot take for some of you, okay? I don't know how hot this take is gonna be, but be ready for a hot take. Cultural appropriation is not necessarily a bad thing. Cultural appropriation is morally neutral. And cultural appropriation is a thing that naturally happens. Cultures mix, they change, they evolve. There's nothing necessarily wrong about that process. So borrowing something from another culture isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like for instance, do you guys know Rihanna? Or do you guys hear Iana? I don't know. You guys are weird, okay? Do you guys know Rihanna and her beautiful yellow dress that she wore to the red carpet that was inspired by Chinese culture? Yeah, do you guys remember that? It was a beautiful dress. It was gorgeous. Oh my god, that dress was so pretty. Oh my god. Just look at her. Now, Rihanna wearing this dress, was she appropriating Chinese culture? The answer is yes. Yes, she was. But was it a bad thing? Not necessarily. She wasn't disrespecting the culture. Usually the problem that comes along with cultural appropriation is the mockery of the culture. But there, the problem isn't really the cultural appropriation aspect of it. The problem there is with the mockery aspect of it, you know? Also, do you guys remember that girl who posted a picture of herself? I don't know, was she at graduation party or at prom? I don't remember exactly what occasion she was at, but she wore a Chinese print dress and there were hashtags going around saying, "My culture is not your dress" or something. Yeah, like that was bullshit, let's be real. And I think the same thing that I said about Rihanna and her dress can be applied here as well. The cultural appropriation aspect isn't really that bad. Her wearing that dress, it wasn't bad. Yeah, sure, she was, using aspects from some other cultures. Yes, that is true. However, she wasn't mocking those cultures. She wasn't mocking China. She wasn't mocking anyone's traditions. So I don't really see a problem with her wearing that dress. So I don't think that, people using white sage, or white people using white sage is necessarily bad. Is it cultural appropriation? Technically, yes, it is. You're borrowing something from another culture. Yes, it is. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. And in order for you to prove that it is a bad thing, you would need to prove cultural misappropriation. You would need to prove that someone simply using white sage, someone simply cleansing a house using white sage like Wiccans and witches do, someone simply burning white sage is them disrespecting Native American culture and tradition. And I don't think that anyone can prove that. So yeah, there's that. It may be cultural appropriation. However, that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. And the guy in the TikTok made it seem like, oh, cultural appropriation is this evil and bad thing that, oh my God, we need to avoid cultural appropriation. Oh my God, it's this bad and evil thing. Oh my God. Cultures mix. They evolve. It's normal. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, the second argument that people use is, well, it goes something like this. White sage is in danger right now. It is being overharvested. Because white people want white sage so badly, it is being overharvested. And white sage may not technically be currently endangered, but it is something that could happen someday. It is being overharvested. It is being exploited. And therefore, I propose a solution that people who are not natives shouldn't use white sage. After all, if there is no demand for it, no one will sell it. Okay, so that's more of a practical argument, right? Like, hey, white sage is being exploited, it's being overharvested, therefore we all should really stop using white sage. That is more of a practical argument. And I know a lot of people are saying that white sage is actually endangered. It's technically not, but it is being overharvested. That is something that should concern us. However, the part I disagree with is the last statement there, that people should therefore stop using it because it is being overharvested. Like, okay, how do I explain this? Okay, so I'm going to use this example. You guys have no idea where this is going. Do you know what else corporations are doing right now? Do you know what else is being overharvested? Fishes. Overfishing is such a big problem. The fishing industry is so fucking exploitative. They're literally killing our oceans right now. Therefore, I propose a solution that every single person that eats fish should stop eating fish. There's so many other alternatives like there are to white sage. Why do y'all have to eat meat? Why do y'all have to eat fish? Y'all could just go vegan, you know? After all, if there is no demand for it, no one will sell it. The point that I'm trying to get at is that if you're gonna blame individual people for their consumptive habits under the system that we have, you know, that argument could be used in other situations as well. Like with veganism. I mean, if we're gonna go out and blame individual people for their consumptive habits, well, I have every right as a vegan to bash every single non-vegan and be correct. Y'all non-vegans out here, yeah, y'all are fucking responsible for killing our oceans. I mean, if we're gonna go out and blame individual people, I have every right to blame you for buying that computer that you just bought. You do know that your computer was made by child slaves, right? And because you bought that computer without thinking, you are responsible for child slaves dying. But here's the thing, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. Because blaming individual people here doesn't make any sense because it's really the fault of the system. It's not necessarily a fault of individual people who are buying these products. It's just not. And I can hear someone already say, well, Jean, white sage isn't necessary. It isn't essential like food or a laptop or computers. So it's different. Well, how do you define essential exactly? Like for me, McDonald's isn't essential. I haven't been to a McDonald's in, 6 years at this point? So you eating from McDonald's wasn't necessary either. So why did you do it? And again, I don't think that we can blame individual people for their consumptive habits, whether it's essential or non-essential. When we live in an unethical system, it's just not possible. And I can already hear you say, Shane, I know. Why are you wasting your time on this white sage thing, you know? I mean, girl, it is stupid. Like, someone saying that you can't use white sage because blah, 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 blah. It's stupid. It's stupid. And I hear you. But damn, this tweet had 100K likes. I saw so many people under this tweet that were saying, oh, I didn't knew that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I won't use it any longer. And it's like, hey, if you don't want to use it, hey, it's completely your choice. Like, I would never stop anyone from being vegan. I would never do that. I would never stop anyone from recycling. I would never stop anyone from doing a good thing, you know? It is good if you do those things, you know? It is good if you stop using white sage because it is being over-harvested. It is a good thing if you do that. I'm never gonna stop you. I'm never gonna do that. However, for you to demand that everyone else does the same thing is ridiculous. And the same thing applies to veganism, by the way. Like, I am never gonna stop you from being vegan. I am vegan myself. I'm never gonna stop anyone from being vegan. But it is, like, I can't force that upon everyone else. Even though I think that it's very easy, I have been vegan in a lot of economic situations, but still, for me to demand that everyone else also goes vegan because for me it was easy, is not something that I can demand of people. Same thing goes for white sage. If you want to use it, okay, cool. But if you want to stop, hey, that's good. Yeah, that's good. But you can't force that upon everyone else. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, but yeah, I saw a lot of people in the comments saying that, oh yeah, I agree with you. And it honestly makes me a bit sad because here's the thing. They're literally arguing for this separation of cultures. These are the same type of people who say that, oh, white people using AAVE is bad and wrong, which is, in my opinion, that's crazy. These are the same people who argue for that shit. It's literally arguing for woke separation. And, you know, in a vacuum, I wouldn't care about this Twitter thread that much. You know, I would think that it's weird and all. I would laugh at it, whatever. But I know that tweets like this are used very cynically by people on far right. And they use it for saying, oh my God, look, all left-leaning people are like this, when that is not true. That is so not true. Left has a lot of factions, believe me. I mean, that's the reason why there's so much infighting in the left. But yeah, this type of tweets are used by people on the far right to say that, oh, all left-leaning people are like this. And what they're doing is essentially they're strawmanning, right? They're saying all the left is like this when, no, that's so not true. Left has its factions. So yeah, that's all that I have for this video. Like this video if you liked it. Comment your thoughts down below of what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Subscribe for more videos. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. And as always, do not touch your face.